from here.
Thanks, Karen. Sorry that we didn't have the poll up front. So yes, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, before we start into the webinar, I just want to give a little bit of background about the SBDC. There may be some of you on who are not familiar with the SBDC, but just to give you an idea here, we are the Maricopa SBDC is part of a national and state network of small business centers that provide counseling at no fee for business owners such as yourself. We are funded by the federal level by the SBA and on a local level by the Maricopa County community colleges. And that makes it possible for us to provide our services at no charge to individuals such as you. At the end of the session, I'm going to share a little bit of information about the counseling services and how you can access those. But just for right now, just to give you an idea, we do have, we offer training such as this, as I said, counseling, and we have a variety of tools and resources that we also make available to our clients. Arizona Commerce Authority is also a partner with us, and that gives us some additional tools that we can share with our clients. So let's go ahead and get started. As Karen said, my name is Jerry Deniston, and I do have more than 30 years of marketing, mostly digital marketing experience. With me today, I have Kevin Frost, and Kevin is the owner of Standing 360 Digital Marketing. He is a certified Google expert and partner. He's also an expert in SEO and IT. And one of the unique things about Kevin is that he's able to fix issues with Google Maps. So if your business isn't showing up in the right place, Kevin's your guy to fix that situation. Also with us today is Ree Lindegren. And Ree is a dancer and artist who has managed to combine technology with performing arts to enhance the user experience. She's got a master's in fine arts in dance and interdisciplinary digital media from ASU. She also teaches at ASU. So Kevin's going to talk about use cases, and Ree is going to share some art examples for you today. So let's just dive into our agenda. I'm going to give you an overview of ChatGPT, a little bit about what it is and what it isn't, some pros and cons. Then, as I said, Kevin, I'm going to hand it off to Kevin, who's going to really show you some examples of how small business owners can use ChatGPT. And then he'll hand it off to Ree, who's going to talk about art AI tools for graphic design and social posts and that sort of thing. So it should be a really fun session. Throughout the session also, if you have questions, please put those in the chat, because we want to get your involvement as we're demonstrating the tools. We'd love to have you throw out some examples and ideas of what you'd like to see. And so please feel free to ask questions and participate with us. That'd be great. So let's start. What is ChatGPT? Essentially, it is an intelligent chatbot, only it's different from the chatbots of old, what we've been familiar with in the past. Kevin, do you have some background that you might share about what ChatGPT is that can just help the audience?
Yeah, it's almost like as if you're talking to a friend, really, rather than just talking to a computer. These things are now really having human-like responses. And so rather than just asking a question, let's say into Google, and having to read a lot of information or really search down to get those answers you're looking for, ChatGPT will be able to respond with an answer directly to your question.
Cool. The other thing to keep in mind about it is that it's not static, right? It's constantly changing and evolving. And so that, it does help to stimulate some creative thinking for many of us who have writer's block, as an example. So thanks for that. Here's some advantages that we're going to talk about, and Kevin's going to share about ChatGPT. One of the things that you might think about, if you've got staff on your team and or even if it's just you and you're doing some repetitive tasks over and over again, you might want to think about how you could use ChatGPT to help automate some of that, because it is really useful for that kind of thing. The other thing that it's very good at is analyzing data, writing reports for you. So if you're doing customer surveys and gathering insights and information, then ChatGPT can be a useful tool to help free up some of your analyst time in trying to compile all that information and create, reports with charts and graphs and things. You can ask ChatGPT to do that for you. This link for Embed Social has a really great article about that and an 8-step process to train ChatGPT to do just that for you. It's also a really good tool for planning, starting an outline for your business plan. Now, we use a special tool that we make available for clients called Live Plan, which has an outline in it and has a whole structure to it. But if you aren't doing that, then you can ask ChatGPT to just create an outline for your business. You could ask it to create an outline for a marketing plan or a marketing strategy as well. And it's also really useful for writing a blog article for you, for writing some content for your social posts, maybe even for the website, that sort of thing. So great way to just just start with the process of the writing. However, there are some limitations. You do need to ensure to edit the content because ChatGPT just doesn't know any better. I liken it to a child who hasn't yet learned right from wrong and lacks common sense. You could get biased results. ChatGPT just doesn't know any better. It's just going to serve up what it finds on the internet based on the prompts that you've given it. And you could get actually wrong information. You could get invalid information. You could get copyrighted information. So you have to check your facts. It's not just it. We don't recommend you just take what you've gotten from ChatGPT and dump it into your marketing posts and post it online. Always make sure that you've edited it. Keep in mind too, the free version, which is the version Kevin's going to demonstrate, the free version is not current. It's based on the latest information it has is from 2021. So it's not current. However, there is an alternative. You might look at using Bing Chat. Bing Chat comes as part of the Edge browser. And now, as Kevin shared with us yesterday, the Bing Chat shows up in your Windows search bar too. So if you're on a Windows computer, you might have access to it without even realizing you already do. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand it off to Kevin, who's going to now provide some use cases, share his screen, and provide some interesting use cases.
Well, hello, everyone. Again, thank you, Jerry, for the introduction and everything like that as well. As you guys all saw, Jerry was covering kind of the what is ChatGPT and some pros and cons. I'll be jumping into more of how to use it, specific use cases, and even some specific prompts that you can use and try out for yourself today. So I actually do encourage you, especially if you have multiple screens that you're working off of, I just sent the link in the chat. Well, at least I am sending it. This is the link in order to get access into ChatGPT if you haven't already used it before. That's just the beginning URL that you can type in. And then here, I'll just go ahead and start sharing the screen now. And if you end up following that link, this is kind of where it'll take you, the openai.com/blog/ChatGPT. Now, this is the introduction to ChatGPT. So I'm not going to be able to cover the full scope of it, but I'll at least be able to help you go through your first couple prompts. And before we jump into the full use case of ChatGPT, it's important to know that if you don't already know, ChatGPT is one of the most powerful chatbots to date. And it's able to really communicate in this conversational manner and produce thorough and clear responses that are really human-like. So it's important to know that this is not a human you're talking to. It is just a computer. But this was only released about 6 months ago, and it has really made waves in the marketing and SEO world and many, many other industries other than just being online per se. But it even has Google itself worrying about its own future, which is why they issued a code red based on just how popular ChatGPT has become in such a short amount of time, especially because it's free to use. So why was Google so worried about this thing? Well, this is a Google Trends. This is just a report showing how much something is being searched. And Google has its own chatbot or its own artificial intelligence called Bard. So in the blue, you can see that this is ChatGPT, while the red is Bard. And while both of them have started to get an increased influx of activity for sure, and interesting to know, Arizona is actually the #1 state that ChatGPT gets searched for. Here's another example. ChatGPT is up 3,000% compared to what it used to be. It is rising very, very quickly. So this is just a current Google Trends, seeing what's happening online. And that's one of the reasons why Google is really worried, is because so many people are really searching and utilizing ChatGPT. I mean, it's even something that I have as the top link when I open up a new tab. It's just something a lot of people are using. So let's jump into specific use cases for it. And if you haven't already, you can try ChatGPT yourself. Like I said, I thoroughly encourage you to try it for yourself. Click on to try ChatGPT. You'll be taken to this page where you can log in and or sign up. All you need to sign up for is at least to have a cell phone number that you can verify yourself with. And then from there, you'll be able to gain access directly into ChatGPT. Now, as Jerry mentioned, there is a paid version, the Plus version, which really the difference is you're working with a really smart kid with ChatGPT 3.5, more likes of like a college student, if you will, while ChatGPT 4 would be considered like a very educated college student that's already graduated. I guess would be the easiest way to describe it. Now, that's not getting into the nitty-gritty of it, but that's a good way to view it. So how to use ChatGPT. In here, you end up typing a prompt, is what it's called. Really, you're just asking ChatGPT these questions or asking it to do these things, and it'll give you a response. So for today's first example, let's say you own a carpet cleaning business and you're wanting to write an article or blog about your business. Now, this is something that I myself have had some experience with. So let's generate a blog giving a step-by-step process of removing slime from carpeting. And it's also important to know you don't have to spell everything 100% accurate. ChatGPT will understand, but in order to try to get the best results, you want to at least, get close to what you're saying. And so this would be a full blog. All you have to do is enter in that prompt, and ChatGPT will give you a full blog topic. And as Jerry mentioned, you don't want to just take this and implement it into a website, or just take this and post it. You'll want to, ensure that it's accurate. And if you do own a carpet cleaning business, you more than likely have gone through and made sure that, yes, that information is correct, or that is the proper procedure for it. But I myself had to do this. And so this was something that I thought was very interesting. Now, this isn't the perfect way to use it. Instead of saying, create a blog, giving me a step-by-step for removing slime, it would be better to start with generating topics. Instead of having it write out a full blog type, you can have it give you some examples, or some topics that you can talk about. So for this prompt, I said, generate 12 new topic ideas and titles for a carpet cleaning business. So from here, you're really starting from scratch and breaking up the blog into the many pieces that it is, from the topic to the image to the actual content itself. So here are some use cases or some topics that we can blog about if we owned a carpet cleaning business website. The ultimate guide to maintaining and clean and healthy carpets, the top 10 cleaning myths debunked. These are some really good ideas. Let's go ahead and just let's take this number 6 one. Say goodbye to pet odors, effective carpet cleaning solutions. And if while I'm doing this, if you do have any questions or prompts that you would like to try related to your business, feel free to enter them into chat, and we can actually explore them while we're in the middle of this. So don't be afraid to ask the questions. So say goodbye to pet odors, effective carpet cleaning solution. This would be a great blog topic, but we're wanting to really expand. And rather than having ChatGPT just write the full blog for you, you can add in, create the outline. Let's go ahead and make that towards the front. Create the outline for the blog say goodbye to pet odors, carpet cleaning solutions. And so this is a much better use case for using ChatGPT to write out a blog, specifically because Google has very broad guidelines and policies stating that if you use specifically ChatGPT and any other AI creation, that it can be considered spam, just because it's so easy to put out so much information so quickly. Now, this is an okay outline, but if you wanted to fill the information out yourself, you can go in and then use these as just titles and headers, and then fill in the information as needed, similar to what this one was. So step 8, kind of fill out the information for yourself because you have to own industry knowledge. Or you can use this and take it and then go to a professional copywriter, which they then will have human generated content that you can apply to your blog. So again, this is just a good situation for when you're using it to create blog topics for you. So now let's do. So once you've filled in the information with your own human generated content, either if it's yourself or you're paying someone, this doesn't mean that ChatGPT is completely useless when it comes to like SEO or anything else. Really, this is an amazing tool specifically for SEO or search engine optimization, if you're unfamiliar with that term. Keyword research can be a long, drawn-out process, especially if you don't know the specific topics you're wanting to cover. But suppose you need a better title for this blog post other than say goodbye to pet odors. Even though this is a good one, you can always just go back to ChatGPT and ask for it to create you a better prompt, or at least a better title. And you can even use ChatGPT to help you create its own prompts to give it a better prompt, to get a better example for your post or your blog post. But there's a lot of more questions and answers. And in most cases, especially with ChatGPT 3.5, you want to make it as simple as possible. But the more information that you can give it, the better. And before I move on, I wanted to share this, and I'll share it again at the end with you as well. This is a ChatGPT cheat sheet. And as Jerry mentioned earlier, it's wise to give it some context into what kind of prompt you want to give it and what kind of response you want to receive. So you can always give ChatGPT a role, like you're a journalist, act as such, a Spanish teacher, an American lawyer, a full stack developer, if you're into web development or anything like that. Finally, define the goal. So whether or not you're writing an essay, a blog topic, code for your website, brainstorming ideas, and then it's important to set restriction. Just like write it in short sentences. If you're writing a haiku or a poem about Winnie the Pooh, make sure it's concise and the whole purpose of it is around that one topic. And finally, you can even format the response of ChatGPT with answer with ... any of these one things, whether it's a numbered list, a bulleted list, markdown, a summary, an analogy. And these are just some examples. There's even more that you can do. So let's go back to our use case here. Let's say we've got this blog outline, but we want to do more to this. You can have it like if you have writer's block and you don't know where to start, you can have ChatGPT write out the introduction. So right. And at least for this, you're not using it to necessarily create the whole blog, but it is at least able to create an introduction of the blog for you. So that way you can get your creative juices flowing, if you will, and start writing more. Now it's going a little bit more than I wanted it. It didn't do just the introduction, but it's going more in depth. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop generating. It's going to keep the generated content it's already done for you, but it's just not going to continue generating more. All right, so this is carpet cleaning business. I don't know if there's any carpet cleaners on today's call, but I'm going to go ahead and jump industries rather than carpet cleaning. Let's talk about SEO and keyword research for a dentist. So a prompt that you can use specifically when you're looking for keyword research is generate a list of ideal keywords to target for your target industry, located in your specific city or state. So let's just use Queen Creek, Arizona, and as a dentist. And again, I am not a dentist, nor do I work for anyone in Queen Creek, but this is just kind of where I live, so I wanted to use this as a use case. Dentist, Queen Creek, Arizona, dental clinic. And all of these keywords are tied to specifically the local area, Queen Creek, Arizona. You can even go more broad and say, hey, I'm a dental hygienist. Keywords should I use? And it'll give you a full list of other keywords. So there's so many more use cases than just this, and more things that you can do. So rather than thinking about this as just like a chat bot that you're going to put on a website, and while you can implement ChatGPT in your own website and respond to customers for you, that's a full different process and involves a little bit more code and a little more technical background. But you're in this case, we're almost using ChatGPT as like a contractor for us, finding these things out for us and more information about those things. So if we wanted to dive more into dental scalping or just in general dental hygiene services, you can use it, look into more information, branch it out into other subtopics. You can even go back to Google Trends and to see which keyword is trending the best. And all of these things are free tools that can really help you out. So let's go ahead and for this, the further you use these examples, let's go ahead and back up here. Let's do dentist in Queen Creek, Arizona. Create 10 blogs around the blog topics. Dentist in Queen Creek, Arizona. Scroll to the bottom. And here it's creating now 10 new blog topics specifically around that keyword. And again, you can start that whole process over, create an outline of it, start with an introduction and you can even create your own conclusion through ChatGPT. So, I mean, this is really exciting, cool stuff. It's so much more than what you think it can do for you. While this is text-to-text generation, we will go into later about text-to-image generation. But let me show you guys a couple more different use cases other than just SEO and web development or website assistance. It can also do things like code.
Perfect, because we've had a question in the chat about using it for code. So good timing.
Perfect. Here. Yeah, it's actually something that I personally have. I'm an IT guy, so I have been in the coding world for many years now, and it's not easy to get into. But once you've utilized it, even for a little bit, anybody that understands a little bit about any of the coding languages, like the most common ones that make up a website, like HTML or CSS, or even JavaScript and Python, you can actually have ChatGPT create some stuff for you. So rather than typing in more about the SEO stuff, let's go ahead and switch over to the coding topics. So let's say instead of a blog generator, you're needing help specifically editing website content like code. So for an example prompt, let's say you need to add a form to your website and your contact us page. So act as the web developer. Let's go ahead and actually, because this was all around blog topics, I'm going to start a new chat to help it really focus on just this one prompt that I'm asking it. So act as a web developer and write an HTML code for a contact form using this recipient, which is my business's email address. And there you go, this flawless code it'll print out for you. Now you can even get into more specifics saying, because this is an HTML code, if you need it written out into a different language, you can even use it for app design, like iOS code languages like Swift, which is an Apple iOS. So you can get even more specific and down into the nitty gritty and even expand. Let's say there's something that I need to not just name, email, and message, but let's say add a different, let me ask the chat here to get everyone involved. What's something else that you've seen on the contact us page, or another thing that you see on a contact us page that you would want in a form? Phone number, there you go. So it knows, all I said is add a spot for a phone number, and it knows, hey, I got to reuse this code and rewrite it with asking for the person's phone number. And there it is, right there. And to copy it, you can scroll over the whole thing or just hit this button right here and copy code. Now, I don't know if you have your own code writer, or you can always use a notepad, but here's VS Code. Close that out. And then you can even go to live view, see it in action. Oh, it doesn't look like it'll work, but this would work. You would just literally copy this code and input it, embed it directly into the website, and it'll work. This isn't working because I don't have a folder set up on my desktop per se right now, but yeah, there you go. And so it does edit as you go, and as you work on things, it'll edit it for you with the variations. So yeah, you can add in even more information. Let's use also. So let's have it remove the message and add instead the location the person is coming from. Now this isn't the perfect contact us form, but this is just showing you the use case for it, that it is something very doable. And you don't even need to code. You don't even know how to code to work this. You just need to know where to put it. And so while it does spit out perfect code, sometimes because this is information based off of September 21, so September 20, the year 2021, if there's any changes in the coding or any changes on your website, sometimes those things have to be readjusted. That's why you always do want to look and reevaluate and fact check all of the information that ChatGPT is spitting out. But yeah, this is some really interesting stuff here. All you have to do is ask and it'll produce. So now there are those limitations. And since it's an AI model, it can be trained on specific data sets, but the most recent one being that September 21 for this 3.5. If you want the upgraded plus, that's where you'll have more information. It'll even be that smarter person. So all you have to do is take that information. I will take some of the prompts that I've used today and put them in the webinar chat as well, if you'd like to take them. And I'll also make sure Jerry had them to send out in the chat, the slides. But yeah, you can even go into more depth about asking about meta descriptions or creating alt text for the images on your website, which is something that you need to do on every single page. Act as an experienced customer and create an FAQ page. I'll end up going over time if I go into all of the use cases and prompts that I wanted to talk to today, but really within a few minutes, we've managed to do some keyword research. We've created a contact us form. It's a lot, even doing catchy titles. All of this information was done with just a few minutes. So
Kevin, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can ChatGPT give you a list of like competitor cafes within a 5-mile radius of an address or something? Could we ask something like that? Maybe around the dentist in Queen Creek, list all or show all the dentists in Queen Creek.
It definitely will give you a response, but it won't always be an accurate or at least an up-to-date response. Let's say this last year, 3 new dentists moved into that area, but unless ChatGPT knew about that, it won't have it in its response. So,
right, okay, because it is based on 2021 data, so it wouldn't capture the dentist that launched in 2022.
correct.
There is There is a question here. Can other chatbots do the coding or blog posts, or are these features specific to ChatGPT?
You can most definitely use other chatbots, specifically like Google's Bard, to create code, or as you mentioned, Jerry, like the Bing chat, you can have it create code for you as well. So this is not limited to just ChatGPT. But the reason why ChatGPT has become so famous as it has, and as popular as it has, is because it is one of the most intelligent chatbots. Even though Bing uses ChatGPT 4, not 3.5, I've noticed that in the responses with ChatGPT 3.5 on ChatGPT's website, the response is being slightly better than Bing's chat. The best currently is the upgraded plus right here. If you wanted to use it, is that's the one that has the most intelligent chat bot responses for you.
So could Plus give a current list of competitors?
It
We,
it depends on the plugins that you would have attached to it. The
okay.
cost of it is $20 a month, I believe. Yeah, $20 a month, and they haven't adjusted that since the release of it. But what's nice about having the plus side too, while it is pretty affordable, only $20 a month, not only is it respond faster, it's available. Like if ChatGPT is in really high demand, sometimes it'll go down for free users, while it won't if you're a plus user. Plus, you'll get new access to new features. And some of those new features are like plugins where it'll actually connect to other things outside of ChatGPT and do stuff for you, specifically like automation that you mentioned, Jerry, like Zapier, and various other places as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I won't get into the nitty gritty, but I'll share all the prompts that I had for today's because I want to make sure there's enough time for Jerry, for everyone else as well. But I'll make sure that all the prompts are accessible to you guys. But the other ones that are going to be talking about today was about creating meta descriptions, schema markup, and even an email writer for you, and even Facebook ads. So those are just some simple business use cases that you can do. So be ambitious, take advantage of this breakthrough technology and help us accomplish the various complicated things that we all have to do anyways. But now we can just utilize these free resources to get them done and reduce how much time it takes us to do them. So yeah,
Right.
thank you. Thank you for letting me talk for a little while.
And just to comment on the email marketing, one of the things I've noticed is, we use Constant Contact throughout the SBDC network, and it has an AI tool in it now. I would imagine that the other email marketing platforms like MailChimp and Aweber and others of those, whatever ones you might be using, they probably, if they don't already have AI tools built in, they probably will pretty soon. But pretty cool that you can, even if you don't have it built into your email marketing, you can ask ChatGPT to write you a series of emails around a specific topic that you can plug into an automation campaign. I mean, that's a huge time saver. Okay, let's move on to Re. This has been great. Thanks, Kevin. So let's get started with Re. And I'll share my screen initially so that we can go through your slides.
Great. Thanks so much, Jerry. And thanks, Kevin. ChatGPT is truly revolutionizing the industry. So first, I just want to give you a little transition moment. The first thing that you can use to create AI art is you can type chat ideas, like prompts, into ChatGPT, and take those ideas from ChatGPT and plug them into AI art generation. So I won't be covering that transition specifically, but I wanted to give you some idea that there is overlap between the two and how you can use them. And you can use any AI chatbot to kind of generate inspiration or ideas around that. So that's the first little transition moment. And then for AI art generation, there are a ton of platforms. So you cannot make AI art currently on ChatGPT, but a lot of the AI art platforms are using the data and using direct connections to ChatGPT to create the art. So all of this is taking huge data sets of art from all over, wherever they're able to pull their data sets from photographs, from drawings, paintings, pretty much anything that they're allowed to use as data sets to create this art. So that's where it's coming from. And then the goal for creating AI art is to learn to speak the language of the AI bot on the other side. Right now, we're in a chat GPT AI art generating craze. But I would say the technology isn't quite up to the hype yet. That doesn't mean that it won't get there. And there are some truly incredible pieces of art that are being made. As you can see in this example, this is Space Opera Theater by Jason Allen. This was all over the news fairly recently, and it was generated on Midjourney AI art platform, and it was the first place winner at the Colorado Fair. So ChatGPT and AI tools for art are really revolutionizing how we see art in the world and what we can do with it. So what else you should know is to make decent, believable AI art, you can use it to design websites or menu layouts, replace realistic photographs, be the next winner of a Colorado Fair maybe, or create any other kind of art that you're looking for social media or graphic design. But first, to speak the language, there are some like specific things, just like in the prompts, of things you have to include, and I'll cover that in the next slide. And my disclaimer for all of this art creation is that if you're looking for immediate results, you should either hire a person with expertise in AI art generation or hire a person with expertise in the art you're looking to make. Making AI art is really similar to ChatGPT in terms of like entering the prompt and typing it in and like reiterating over and over until you get what you want. But each AI art platform, because it's drawing on a different data set and has different data collection, it involves a lot of fine tuning, and you have to learn to speak the language of the specific platform just a little bit. The prompts are generally the same, and I'll go through an example and show you that as well. So some of the things you also can use are these like unique and fantastical images. You can find inspiration, which I really enjoy. I'm constantly inspired by AI art. And then you can use it for, graphic design in your everyday life. And so AI art is really fun to make. I think that's the number one reason to do it. It's like this online virtual play space in my brain, where you can just try things out and see what happens. And if you're not quote unquote artistic, it's a really fun place to see what happens using some words. You become like a wordsmith. And some of the platforms I tried out for this presentation, and there are a ton, and I've put them in the order of my recommendation for ease of use, and because they have some free credits that you can use to try things out to begin with before you start your journey into playing with, like these different art generating platforms. So Dream Studio is my number one, and then it's Night Cafe. Canva has a text to image that's super cool, and hopefully we'll have time to play in that as well. Shutterstock has an AI image generator, Starry.ai, OpenArt, Midjourney, which is it's one of the more like famous popular ones right now, and DALL-E 2. For Midjourney, it's on Discord, which is like a communication tool platform, kind of like Slack, if you haven't used it before. And it does require it's a steeper learning curve, I would say, than others, because you have to know how to use Discord first. And then you have to also buy credits to be able to try it out, but you can just log in and watch people make stuff, and you can learn all kinds of things about how they're wording it, and it's in real time. So it's kind of cool to just witness it and how they make art in real time that way. And then DALL-E 2 is really great, has great reviews, and it looks super realistic. However, I did not try it out for this presentation because I wanted to use free platforms first that were really accessible, and they have a $15 minimum of credits to begin playing in the language in the world. So other things you should know before you begin making art: every single art generating platform struggles with human features. The more complex the image request, the more times you need to regenerate or tweak the prompt to get what you want. I would personally use AI art platforms to create unique or fantastical images or for inspiration. I'm a photographer and videographer, and I would still definitely use an old-fashioned camera to capture things that are part of daily life. Also in AI art generation, you cannot use name brands. I tried to make an image using a Sony lens that I use to represent the work that I do with my company. And I could not put Sony in there. And then I realized that no name brands are allowed, which makes sense if you think about it, right? For copyright or legal or trademarking issues, anything like that. You can't use name brands in any kind of AI generated content. And also there are some new things that are constantly coming out. Adobe has an AI platform called Adobe Firefly, which is still in beta testing at this time, but would integrate with Adobe products, which is super cool. And also what's not on there is there's some new platforms intended for restaurants to help with menu design, like lunchbox.io. And I just went out about this, so it's not on the list, but they also have a steep learning curve. I jumped in and tried to play around with it. It's not hard. It's kind of like if you know how to use Canva or another like drag and drop tool to make, social media content. It's like that, but I didn't see the plus at this point of using the AI to like generate content automatically versus just doing it really quickly in Canva. So for me, I need to see it's worth my time and energy before I, totally commit to all of the AI use cases. So in the next slide, here are some of the things that you'll need for learning to speak the language in the art portion of the world. So you need to create a prompt that the platform understands. It's looking for specific keywords, just like in ChatGPT, what Kevin just showed you. You'll need to modify language and keywords to things that the platform already knows. So just like structuring a sentence in English, you're going to need these basics. You need a subject, a main keyword, noun. It's an office desk. This creature has purple eyes. It's a spaceship launch. There's a haunted house. It's a cheeseburger, a steaming mug of coffee, whatever it is, it needs to know what it's about. Then you need to describe it with as much simple detail as possible. So, the office light had soft light fading in onto the desk. The purple-eyed creature came out of an ethereal planet in, a hazy mist. All of these things are things to think about as you're trying to describe it. And then, the style is really fun to play with. Some of them have them built in. So you just kind of like drag and drop, choose the style, and some of them you need to type in. And then for graphics, it's how the image is rendered. And this is where it gets a little bit technical and complicated. And I see the question in the chat. So you're going to need to look at what kind of like rendering machine, and you can Google this or look it up. You don't really need to know this unless you're getting into some of the more complicated ones like Midjourney that need a little bit more information, but it is really good in all of them to put the quality resolution, which is in the next slide. Thank Jay. Yeah. So these are just like in photography and videography, you need to know the resolution, which I like to think of as kind of like the size and amount of detail that's in an image. So small is your YouTube, social media quality platform, anything for Facebook, etc. Medium, high def, you can post these on some social media sites, but they will take up more space. Also for websites, if you need them in a video, but again, they're larger, they take up more space. Super large 4K, people are very excited about this, but this is going to take up a ton of room and it's not necessary unless you're going to print it or put it on a really big monitor. In 8K, I would almost never recommend. Like, I don't know where this is going to go and it's going to be huge. It could be really extra beautiful, but I don't think you need it in 8K for this kind of work. So now I'm going to jump over to share my screen. And
could you just quickly, answer the question and let's then jump, and I'll stop sharing and then you can.
Great, thanks, Jerry. Can you add your own logo into AI art design tools if you are a registered user? So far, I have not seen this. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I know that in Canva, you can create the art and then drag your logo into it wherever you want. You can also create a logo with some of them, but it is a little bit tricky. Like they really, the ones I tried out in logo creation struggled to spell the words correctly. So for all of these, I would say these are not text-based. These are image-based purely. So yeah, you can use them for any kind of image that you want, but put text in afterwards over it. But because I think of the copyright concerns, I haven't seen a successful use case with AI and text generation easily. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means it takes a little bit more iteration, or it might be through a specific platform that allows you to do that. And if you figure it out, please let me know. That would be super cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Okay, hold on. Okay, can you see the Dream Studio?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. It's not showing the usual green marks on my screen, but you can see Dream Studio?
Well, we see all your pictures. I don't know. Yes, it says it's Dream Studio.
Dream Studio. Okay, great. So this is my #1 Dream Studio. These are some of the examples of prompts, and they give you sample prompts to play with first. You can see there's a lighthouse on a stormy beach, surrounded by crashing waves, dramatic clouds, intense detailed, high coastal landscape. So these are the level of detail that you can give to them to generate images. And these are some of the other ones that are auto-generated, like Aurora Borealis. These are beautiful images, right? And this is basically the data set that it knows. So if these are the kind of images that you're looking for, it's already got it in its data bank, and you can easily pull out, Aurora Borealis, some beautiful mountains. You can pull out some fantasy, some fun kind of like cartoon adventure. And these were auto-generated. This is one that I tried, which was a futuristic office that's warm, comfortable, inviting, and offers space for people to gather and create together. Created some pretty realistic offices that look pretty cool. And then I tried humans, and this is what I mean by the humans are not quite there yet. A person doing a backflip across a river, it looks very realistic and they have perfect form. I clearly also need to give more detail to the ChatGPT, but just as a first trial run, these are pretty terrifying. None of these humans are appropriately formed for what we recognize as people. This is really disturbing. I'm not going to try it on Dream Studios today, but I am going to try it on Night Cafe, and I would love for your contribution to this experience. So we'll try out a text prompt first, and I would love a noun. Someone tell me a noun. It could be something that's business related or just something that you're curious about.
Turtle.
Turtle. I love
And
it.
princess. Another one is princess.
Princess turtle. Okay, maybe we're going to tell a story about a princess and a turtle, or it could be a turtle princess. Depends on how we want to go with it. All right, give me some descriptions around the turtle and or the princess. What do they look like? Is it a purple turtle? Is it a princess wearing something specific? What is her skin color? Give me some details. The turtle is orange. Yellow, beautiful dress.
Fairy princess.
Love it. What is the texture?
In the desert. In the desert.
In the desert. What is the texture of the turtle shell?
Holographic. Slimy bubbled shell.
Orange turtle with a slimy
Bubbled shell.
bubbled shell. Love it.
In the desert with a fairy princess in a yellow, beautiful dress.
Okay. Holographic style. Okay, and then they also have styles here in Night Cafe that you can choose from. Let's just try this like synthwave. This looks fun. All right, we're gonna hit create. And this comes with a number of credits. It gives you some other options to pull in free credits. So I pulled in some free credits today as well. So here we go. All right, we have this one lost it entirely. This This one just got the fairy princess, no turtle. This one is really fun, right? There's also no turtle. We've lost the turtle in this picture, but we did get some orange blobs. So maybe it's gotten a little confused. So we could further refine this and say, start with a fairy princess in a yellow, beautiful dress, walking through the desert, holographic style. A moves next to her. Let's see what happens now. Okay, well, we got one with the turtle, so success. Its head is a little bit unclear, but we have some more realistic, I guess, this one has a little bit more models of humans, so these are starting to look more humanoid. And we got the wings down. This one's got a really cool desert experience. So you can see, you just keep typing and evolving and figuring out, how you want to use it. And then in the last couple minutes, I just want to quickly show you Canva text to image, which we can do something similar with. So we can take the same prompt that we have here, pop it into here, and then create your image. And then it's going to give images over here, which I usually grab and drag and drop into a brand new canvas inside of Canva. So here we have, let's see how realistic. Okay, almost there. The dress, great. The face, terrifying. And then here we have the desert, looks pretty realistic. If almost, yeah, the fingers are almost there. It's kind of like boots. So there's some perks to that one. This is one we just did. And then here. So, you can use it for these different kinds of experiences, and some things work better than others, right? They might know the desert really well. This could almost be believable as a full image. And if you kept refining it, you could probably get it there. Some other things that we played with while practicing for this presentation, we tried out some cheeseburgers to see, and this one almost, it looks pretty solid as a painting. And we typed in some details, like you can get some pretty realistic varieties if you wanted to do food for a menu or something like that. And if you have a really standard fare, you might be able to find it. It will take some work to kind of refine it to what you want. So you have to decide if it's worth your time to, you don't have to, if you're like a restaurant owner, you don't have to make a bunch of food and then have someone come and photograph it. If you can get it refined to a certain point. But at this point in time, unless you're working with a pretty refined system or someone who knows how to just keep typing in the words the way that it's supposed to, it might be faster and more time efficient to just hire the photographer and bring it out. And so that's why I like to use it for art inspiration. But you could also do, what are some current careers or things that people are working in right now that are with us in the chat?
Sorry, Reed, can you repeat that? What was that?
What are some current careers? Like, who do we have? Web designs. Some of them can help you do website layouts. So we could do that. So you could, I don't know about text to image, but you could try it in Night Cafe. They're all kind of built for different things. So you could say a website layout for an e-commerce store. What do you sell, Tammy? Yeah, well, we could say it sells men's boots. And then
backpacks. She says backpacks.
Backpack. Okay, cool. So let's see if we can find a photorealistic style. Here's a color portrait that sells backpacks. Great. And this will be our last example. I know we also have to wrap up. But so we're not Not at all. We lost it a little bit photo wise, but this is, as a sample layout, they're trying to give you some examples. Interesting, right? Not quite there. There are some that I feel like
some of
Dream
those
Studio
faces
has-
are really horrible.
that's what I mean. The faces are just not there. So when you see images that people have made with AI and the face looks fantastic, give them a round of applause because they have done some serious, coding to make it, prompt regeneration to make it happen. So this is not the best example, but there are some that give you ideas for website layouts. And I also have a blog post that I'm working on that'll be published later this week. And it has more examples of art, gives you some ideas. They'll have links that'll, kind of refer you to like website layouts or places for other things. So maybe I can put that with the other info and you can look more at that. Great. I'm going to stop.
And as Kevin mentioned, also the Midjourney. Midjourney is really good for creating the website layout. And then you can dump it into, I watched a video on that. Maybe I should find the link and share that. Except that Midjourney is no longer free. I mean, I was able to try it out before they started charging, but yeah, Midjourney was amazing. You could create in 5 minutes, create a layout for whatever the product was, and then take it into, actually took it into Wix Studio, and then he had ChatGPT write the hero title and the tagline, and then a description on the homepage. And it's like, boom, you're in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, your homepage was done. So you probably have to do some refining, but it worked really well.
Yeah, and so the paid options, just like ChatGPT Plus, are going to have more things that you can use them for. So that's why, and I just reviewed the free options. So I would say use the free options to kind of learn how it works. Then when you feel comfortable with that, then you can go on, buy some credits, and use it for very specific things that you want to use it for.
Right, exactly. So thank you, both Kevin and Ree, for sharing your knowledge about this. This is really fun and informative. Does anybody have any questions before I just move on to the last couple of slides? Any additional questions? Is there something in the chat? Can images be uploaded into ChatGPT? Say you do a web layout, can you add to ChatGPT for the code?
No, I don't think you can add in images currently into at least not the free version of ChatGPT. But there are OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT, does have that DALL-E 2 image generator that you can put them in. I've seen some people, what they've started to do as well is to take the chat version of ChatGPT and apply it to image generators. So there's a lot out there, but at least not for any of the stuff that we covered today. No.
Okay. And Ree and Kevin, would you both just put your websites into the chat? There's people Ree has done that. So Kevin, you go ahead and do that too. What are the IP copyright implications? ChatGPT is obviously drawing from knowledge on the internet. Shouldn't we be concerned with copyright? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. And Kevin, you want to answer that in more detail about copyright?
I think Ree has a good explanation on it as well. There's definitely a lot of fear out there. You can't just, it's unfortunately very easy to remove watermarks nowadays. And so, I'll let Ree further expand on it though. I know she has a great response to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. There's not an easy answer. There's a lot of people that are writing about the ethical implications of ChatGPT and AI generated art. And this is not a new conversation, right? Chatbots, AI has been around since the 1960s. So this is a very long historical conversation of ethics and how it's implicated. I would say that for most of the things that you're doing, you're pulling on at large data sets of information that are publicly available to the best of my knowledge. So I don't think you should just copy paste. I have this issue with students that I work with, right? Everyone's using ChatGPT. I can tell when something is written by ChatGPT and I will call them out on it. I want to see some original thought. So it's great to use to structure your paper or your blog post or your article or whatever you want to use it for, but then you need to customize it. And you need to add your own thoughts and words and inspiration. And so for me, that's where the line is for, like copyright, IP. And I can't directly answer that. I'm not a legal professional, so I don't know, the rest of that, but it's definitely something to consider.
My understanding, however, is that as long as you have changed, you use ChatGPT for the original download of thought, right? Of original content, but then you go in and you change the wording and you customize it and you change the tone of voice. You have now created something that is unique to you. And so then it becomes less copyrighted as long as you aren't using sentences, complete sentences that were pulled exactly from someone else's text. As long as you've modified the language and you've customized it to a great extent, then it becomes more unique content. You've just gotten the ideas. But I think, as Kevin was suggesting in his session, better to use the topic headlines and the subheads, and you write the paragraph that goes with that, versus getting all of that content and just changing a word here and there. Kyra has a question about, would you own the images you generate? I think there's another, you have to modify the image as well, because otherwise it doesn't really become unique. Right, Ree? Wouldn't.
Oh, well, I was going to say that Colorado image that I showed that won first place, that's part of the controversy. So the idea is that you're using your words to reiterate over and over, and it's your idea that's sparking the original inspiration. And so you have created it in some way, but they're still exploring the ethical boundaries and the copyright and ownership of these images. We're in a whole uncharted territory right now. With just the sheer volume and scale of it. So it's a great question. I can't directly answer that. In theory, yes, it's yours. Yeah, Kevin, what are your thoughts?
To your point exactly. I mean, even doing a Google search, the first answer is no, you can't copyright your own Midjourney images or your own images created through AI. But then literally the next link is, as a paid member, you do own all assets you create through Midjourney and all the other AI things. So it really does go hand in hand, because it is you creating it. It is your prompt or your idea. You wrote out that first thing that caused it to generate this, but then what you do with it after that, I think it all does come back to what you do with it, and if you're able to make money from it, or all those kind of different facets kind of almost come down to you as what your own ethics level is for it.
And then also on top of that, I believe that everything that you're asking ChatGPT goes back into its archives. So the data that you're asking it becomes part of its data collection. Is that incorrect? The data collection it's way more complicated than I can fully understand, but
I recommend talking to a lawyer if you need it.
Talking to a lawyer, yeah. So
and you might, and good luck finding a lawyer who's up on all of this, right? That may also be difficult to find. There is a question about, can ChatGPT automatically generate a bibliography for the information it provides, or can you ask it to?
Oh, you most certainly can ask. And if you want it to describe like why it came up with certain things, it won't necessarily tell you where it came up with the idea, but it'll tell you why it provided that information. So let's say you wanted to write like a short biography about yourself. You can throw like your whole resume and all of your information and all the things that you have about you into ChatGPT, and then ask it literally at the end, hey, create a short summary of me, of who this person is. And it'll definitely create you a little short biography for you. But that's just one specific way to do it.
But you could also try Bing. This might be a use for Bing, to throw that into Bing and ask it to create the bibliography, because it does give you the source links. So again, you've got to check everything and just make sure that it isn't pulling copyrighted information and that kind of thing. We are running over. And so I'm going to just go back to Karen's request. If you are a student of Maricopa County Community Colleges, any of the colleges, if you would just put that into the chat, which college you're either attending or you have attended. at any of those colleges, that would be helpful. We're just trying to gather information about, any students that might be attending our webinars. I will just move on. Thank you again, Ree and Kevin. And I just want to move on and share some information about accessing counseling services of the Maricopa SBDC. If you are not a client of Maricopa, then please go to the website maricopa-sbdc.com. And the first thing that will happen is that Karen will be your first point of contact. She will actually review your registration, and then she will assign you to one of our counselors. And then that counselor will reach out to you to schedule your initial counseling session. And the goal that we have is to actually build a long-term relationship with our clients. So you are not limited to the number of sessions that you have with your counselor. It says we're here to support you for as long as you need us. And we have clients who have been with us for years, who stop for a while and then come back a year or two later, and that's perfectly fine. We're just here to support you in any way we can to help you start, grow, or expand your business. And so that's a series of initial counseling session, follow-on sessions. And the only thing we do ask is that periodically we'll be actually capturing some information from you that links to the impact goals that we need to provide to the SBA. That information is generic, however, it isn't tied to your information directly. We're just capturing total jobs, total capital, total owner investment, that sort of information that we can send over to the SBA on a quarterly basis. I do notice that we have someone from Scottsdale Community College, someone from Phoenix College. That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you again for joining us today. There will be a survey at the end of the program, so please do fill that out and send that in. That just helps us know how we can improve on these webinars. Thank you again so much. You will be getting the handouts. You'll be getting a copy of the slides, and we have some additional handouts we're going to share with you. So look for that email to come from Karen. Probably could be next week. We'll try to get it by the end of this week, but it's a short week, so probably next week. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.